than the natural ground. So when we create these trenches, we'll be able to pick up that roof runoff. But if you had an extreme year, like we've had some recently, when you create the infiltration, it gets the water of the edge of the roof, and then there's a couple of layers of sand and stone.
Siltsod, okay.
That's the garage next door.
Oh, the other parcel.
Yeah, it's not on this piece.
Is that yours?
No, some concrete blocks and
Concrete, well, yeah, there'll be concrete
soil
blocks
underneath?
underneath the wall, and then they're going to pour another floor on top of the concrete floor that's in there now.
For rental or anything like that,
No.
right? Just a garage for you to get your snowblower in.
there are already 2 boats in it. That's why I'm so
Gotcha.
tight, and I don't have room for 5 yet, so.
Yeah, and then against or has questions, next.
Okay. Is there anyone, hearing none, is there anyone here who would like to speak against or this application or has questions? Oh, thank you.
Stipulation.
We can add, yes. Okay. Yes, we can. I shouldn't say, I'll take Jennifer's word on this. So I will do roll, I guess, on this.
Roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
You got it.
Common that we would put a stipulation, even when you apply for a building permit, that it's only to be used for personal use and not for the use of a conducting business. So it is very.
The variance will not be contrary to the public interest. So, let me refresh my memory, sorry. Contrary to the public interest would
Find the variance to, that it's not contrary to the public. I think there was other things like around that area, in that same area.
that's firsthand, that I'll start with it, but if not, I'll just go around the room on the 5
And you can
criteria.
always, you can have
Yeah.
discussion, and you can always adopt their criteria that they submitted.
And Ms. Massey Quinn had, did you catch her, do we have her comments?
My comment.
I interrupted you, I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
The ordinances are, they're already, it's tough to implement, the ordinances on,
Going left or right, they're just going off the back of the garage. What is the purpose for a variance in the first place? Because they're not affecting their...
done major expansions on
Okay.
Little Island Pond. I mean,
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
It's just that when they come to us
Yeah.
looking to...
to continue to be non-conforming is what it is,
Fair enough.
yes. Substantial justice is done.
Again, when it comes to this, I always consider what is on the property and what should continue. They have an existing garage with a vested use. So they...
Capture the rainwater or any runoff and infiltrate it, I think would just be a benefit to both the,
Mr.
yes?
Especially the A, the proposed use is a reasonable use. I mean, they're just...
Does that distinguish it from other properties in the area specific to the land?
They have 2 lots.
Yeah, so
So
how does
that's...
it...
What's up?
Unique to this particular piece of property, and the hardship would be, otherwise you'd have to lift the garage, move the entire thing. It would have...
As opposed to a hardship associated with the land? This is a convenience, not a hardship.
No, well, the
That's
hardship...
hardship is. I'm not saying I'm opposed to this idea, but I'm trying to look at the criteria that says that there's a hardship here, and I see it more of a convenience based upon the land. And I've seen this as more of a out of convenience to have a big, I can appreciate it, heck of it.
Because I remember one on Hines Lane that had a shed on it, and my initial thing was I denied it, and then I did some...
Opposed by the land.
So
Discussion.
if I could, so if he's trying to relocate from Wellesley Drive, which is a larger parcel with...
Unless the chair would like you to speak. Because you started deliberations, but you've also let people from the public speak to
Yeah,
you.
we're going through it so far.
I mean, he can't go back, he can't go forward, that he's locked into that, that's the only thing he can do. Sorry.
No, I think that's excellent.
It's 2 lots that are
It
now
is.
one
For the
in an
pond,
area
that's a
where there's a lot
good-sized
of
lot.
smaller lots. So did you want to add that as one of your facts?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Was the convincing factor. The other thing just adds more cream on the, frosting on the cake, if you will.
And just for the record, I wasn't,
Yeah. Right, just make sure. With stipulation, with the condition we made, yep. Danielle Massey Quinn, 5 yeses, final vote yes, with condition we just made.
Many towns that I do business in that have a regulation that states that if you're not increasing zoning change.
Well, we might want to leave it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Meisner was just talking about, it wouldn't necessarily require a variance, but the pond lots are so condensed, and you have, so I have gotten legal opinion in the past of the workday, in the middle of the week, which makes it hard to attend. If this board was interested, NHMA does offer to do their property to the best of their ability and their enjoyment, but you still have to make sure that it's the benefit to them doesn't outweigh the benefit to town, the benefit to...
I take that.
We had that discussion.
They can come
I
here.
think the new members.
Yeah, they can come here and sit with us,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
State assessor to be able to talk to some of the characteristics or some of the issues that come up when you start to talk about, does this diminish the property? Advise someone as to the value of a piece of real estate and how it might be impacted by what happens. I go back to years ago when we had a pig farm example to say, I don't know what the impact, value of
Right.
the impact is. So if we could have someone come before us and just give us some insight as to what are they looking for, what are people...
Addition that's going to be beautiful and
Yeah,
good
those are
trees
kind of
along the water
the
and
two
not...
extremes.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
That's common sense, though.
But a lot of it is common sense,
But
but
people did, and I went along with the vote. So, again, I think it's just to have someone who's, objective, they're not involved, things like that. Hey, under these circumstances, is this diminished? Do you think it might have? Under these circumstances, what's been your experience? Relation impact turtles, as an example.
But yeah, biology is a little bit different than the realtor, though. Don't you think?
Not a certified assessor, real estate assessor.
the agenda maybe after. The meeting with NHMA, that's not a meeting, it's called a non-meeting.
Yeah.
It's, so that you don't need to notify and have.
Of an education.
Education would be okay, but again, it's still subjective, because it's still going to be, I guess,
But it's adding additional information.
the attorney asking the questions that you need to ask. That's considered a non-meeting, and it's not subject to
Yeah, I think in the
anyone.
past it was like a Saturday or...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see, I'll ask them, I'll pose the question.
But we have zoning for that. You can't have, someone can't start a junkyard next door to your house.
Right, but if they were here, a junkyard is extreme, but say it was some type of a business that maybe,
It's going to make you more
so
successful.
I can see what I can find out. I mean, nobody's expecting you to know how to,
I've taken 4 realtor classes back.
Realtor that says the property value goes down, but I'd be curious, again, if it could be done in conjunction with the other one, I'm all for it.
all right, I'll work with you on coming up with a date, and in
Yeah.
case all the meetings are going to temporarily move back to Sherburne Hall. With that, there's going to be a conflict with the November meeting.
Is that for?
With
That's the
that?
last.
In November
The
is...
last, yeah.
That's forestry, right?
Is it the forestry meeting?
Yeah, that's the forestry committee meeting.
Do it monthly?
No, but if you have.
But we're going like October 21st.
Yeah, but you know what?
You are going October 21st, I noticed that, so this would still keep you kind of close anyway, but,
Oh, I'm telling you my house right now.
No,
We are.
they're not on TV, so I know that's going to be addressed in the next
oh,
week.
so that is a problem though, because that's only scheduling, moving around, but,
It's like scheduling a party.
So keep that, and maybe we
back to back, a
Yeah,
couple
welcome
times.
to our world,
It's happened. It's the only week that, unless we just switch to a totally different